I'm Chet Kincaid with that Grape juice. Michael and Greta, how are you both today?
Good, good.
Good. So All American is back for its seventh season, and it's like a whole new era now. So,
Mhm.
what is it about playing Layla and Jordan that both excites you at this point?
Oh, wow. I think just, I mean, at this point, it's, uh, we've been with these characters for so long. There's such a familiarity there. And I think there's a lot of ways in which, like, speaking for myself, it's sort of like, there's always a separation, of course, between the character and yourself, but there are ways after 7 years that the two sort of bleed into one another. And
Yeah.
you see parts of yourself in them and parts of them in you. So it's just really cool, I think, to be at that place where there's just such a familiarity with the character that you're playing.
hmm And
Mhm.
you, Michael?
Um, it excites me about I mean, just being able to kind of step onto the field from a different end, if you will. I've done the
Mhm.
whole suiting up for the last 6 years, and that that was fun. But to be able to step into it and just kind of look at the game from a different viewpoint, and then also just to be there for these kids, a different viewpoint, and then also kind of just layer in bits and pieces of previous characters, like Jordan's connection to Billy is very noticeable in season 7, and I think you kind of keep his character alive throughout some of Jordan's actions and some of the things that he chose to do.
Yeah, that's great. And as I mentioned, this is a new era, and you're both adults now. You're the
Mhm.
ones leading the pack now. So, what can we expect from both Layla's and Jordan's journey now this season?
I think they're both stepping into more of like a mentorship role. I
Mhm.
think for Mike and I, it's been on and off screen, with these new amazing cast members joining the All American family. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of ways in which they take some of these younger characters under their wing and impart the knowledge that they would have gotten from people in the past. And that feels really exciting to be able to pay it forward in that way and see them step into these more adult roles. And they still are and still feel like kids themselves in a lot of ways, but to sort of step into that adulthood role as well is really exciting.
Yeah. And you, Michael?
Yeah, just being able to, be a bit more serious, for
Mhm.
me at least, and to understand kind of the weight and the hardships that come with being a coach and the man of the house and a loving husband and all of these things, and just trying to maintain all of those things is a juggling act, I think, for Jordan, and that's what keeps it fresh and exciting for me.
Okay, great. And speaking of husband, Layla, from what I've seen, can you tell us, is there something going on with Layla and Cassius this season?
Oh,
You
I
take
am
it
I'm not
first.
gonna touch that question with a 10-foot pole, but I will
Yeah.
say Layla
Mhm.
is very much in her very happy at the newlywed stage with her husband Jordan. But that is so funny that you say that. I think Cassius has his own relationship problems that he's dealing with, and
Mhm.
she's a support to him in that, and is sort of trying to be a good friend and support system and helping him sort of navigate that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question more so on a personal tip. As far as, these characters, they seem to think that they are so grown, but they're only about like 23. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what can you say for yourselves at being in the stages as far as, not having it all together or having it all together at whatever stage in life?
I mean, life, I think, is a continuous journey in which we're
Hmm.
always learning about ourselves, about the people around
Mm-hmm.
us. These characters are, like you said, what, 22, 23 years old. And
Yeah.
so I think that sometimes they expect in their minds for everything to go perfectly.
Hmm.
We, as the actor, understand that it's like,
Yeah.
no, you're going to mess up. Like you're 23 years old. I'd hope
Hmm.
to mess up. But I think that these characters will go through things and they will fail. And I think that's the beautiful thing about life, is that you fail and it's about how you get back up after you've fallen. And then I think that fans almost enjoy kind of seeing people rise and fall and rise and fall and grow during that rising and falling.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. And in episode one, Layla and Coop go back and forth about the previous characters. They're now living in New York, and you're still there on the West Coast. So, personally, for each of you, which coast speaks more to you, the West Coast or the East Coast?
Hidden questions. I mean, I'm an East Coaster originally. I'm from
Hmm.
Toronto. So I think East Coast, I think I'll always just be East Coast at
Yeah.
heart. But I love the West Coast. This is, my home now
Hmm.
and where I live, but East Coast at heart, I think.
Last time I was in New York, it was beautiful, but I think West Coast.
Okay. Well,
West Coast. All right. I miss the seasons. That's like huge. But
yeah.
you're
And I
like,
don't miss
you don't
negative
need them.
weather at all. That's all you. What's the last time you went?
Was
When was the
that?
last time I went? Well, yeah.
In the winter. Did you go home for
Yeah,
Christmas?
I was in New York this winter, and I will say, like, it's cold, but like, like holidays, you need it. You need some snow and you need some cold. It's like part of the whole thing. But yeah, I'm glad I get both.
Yeah. Well, last question before we head out. So All American has always been about legacy and community. So how does Jordan's following in his father's footsteps and Layla's continued success in the industry reflect that theme?
Hmm. I think we always pay homage to the characters that we've that have come and gone. I feel like no one ever truly leaves. Everyone, you always feel their presence, even from from Sean from season one. Like they sort of continue to live on through the storytelling. And it's no different for this season. And especially, I'm sure like Michael can speak more to Billy and Billy's influence on Jordan. But I think it's something our show has always done really well. Because all of the characters are so important and so impactful. So whether or not you see them on screen, you always, I think, feel them
Hmm.
in our storytelling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly right. I mean, you'll see bits and pieces of Jordan, excuse me, of Billy in Jordan, especially in his coaching technique, and I think more so in his mentorship technique and the way that he's going to be there for some of these boys and continually motivate them to be the best versions of themselves.
Well, Michael and Greta, thank you so much. Congratulations on season 7. I'm wishing you both
Thank
all the
you.
success.
Thank you,
Thank
Chet.
you so much.
Thank you.